You can choose pain of discipline or pain of regret. This is pain of discipline. Literally. I want to preface this by saying that this is something that has worked for me. If you have the means, desire, and curiosity to attempt this, I think it is very much worth it. I am not advising anyone to do this, I'm just telling my experience. I know there are youngsters on this subreddit, so this is very much 18+ and in no way intended for those underage. This should be safe for work, there are no graphic descriptions of anything. Most I think will also disagree with this because of the moral crossroads one might find themselves at or just the seemingly extreme and taboo nature of it. I also see there is also a growing number of posts from the semen retention side of this. While I don't really see eye to eye with their perspective, I understand where they are coming from. Also, if you're the alpha male type, you will probably flat out refuse to try something like this. Also, there is a potential risk involved here that you could be replacing the short-term feel-good brain benefits of PMO with this. We all know how addiction works, so you could potentially be replacing one high for another. Personally, I am okay with this risk, as the negative effects of porn usage have all but disappeared with others still improving. My energy levels have returned, my focus has improved drastically, my pied is waning and my erections are improving. The downside is that potentially a vanilla sexual relationship could leave a lot to be desired. I'll cross that bridge when I need to. Judge that for yourself. I also don't consider this a compulsive or impulsive sexual behavior, as I am way more restrained in this than I ever was with porn, and it's not something that can be done daily, nor do I want to daily. So again, judge that for yourself too. For those who care to read my story, I posted it here 88 days ago, which is also how long I have been PMO-free. One thing that I left out of my story was at the beginning of this year, I began seeing a dominatrix once a month, mostly to live out certain fantasies I thought I wanted from watching porn scenes, but I was much too scared to try any of the BDSM stuff. With that said, I want to add that BDSM porn was never my thing. I had occasionally viewed it out of curiosity, but the extremity of it always turned me off. Details of our early sessions, I don't feel necessary to tell them, because they have nothing to do with ridding me of my addiction to porn. I also won't give extensive detail of what happened in the recent sessions. I don't want to trigger anyone who may have had BDSM porn addiction. I will give a general recap of the last 45 days, which is when I decided to start dipping my toe into the BDSM side of the experience. BDSM porn and the real-life experience of it are two radically different things. Porn wants to show you the most extreme and depraved side of it. There is that side to it in real life, obviously, but my short stint into the lifestyle has shown the majority of it is not like that. While it has obvious sexual overtones, in my experience it's not really completely about sex, and I do not have sex with my dominatrix. There is a somewhat spiritual side to it, a nirvana-type place one arrives at while in a session. What I am going to describe next is what is achievable from the submissive side of a dominant-submissive relationship, and this is what has cured my porn addiction. Subspace. I've seen my dominatrix 3 times over the last 45 days and have had my first time and subsequent 2 times entering subspace. Subspace is found when a submissive has totally given themselves over to the control of their dominatrix. It's not something you do consciously, it kind of just happens. From the pain brought on, physical from her, and mental from yourself, thoughts come bubbling to the surface as your brain is screaming at you as you enter flight or fight mode. Neither one is an option as you are restrained. So what can you do? Your brain kind of gives up and dumps endorphins and dopamine. You begin to float in this thing called subspace and all these thoughts and emotions begin to run through your mind at 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's amazing how much you can recap your life, decisions you've made, things you've done right, wrong, relationships, etc., while all this is happening. A good dominatrix will keep you in subspace for an appropriate amount of time, then begin to slowly pull you out and wind the session down. When it's finished, she provides what's called aftercare. You talk about the session, things you thought about during it, emotions felt, life in general, or whatever you feel you need to talk about. It can be quite emotional and therapeutic. I have been very open with my dominatrix about my porn addiction problems, pied, and other things going on in my life. She is also very caring, constantly checking in with me during the session to make sure I'm okay, respects boundaries, and always stops when I say I need to. She considers herself a sensual sadist, and I think that is an accurate description. What happens after I leave, on my hour drive home, is when I truly get to reflect on everything, with what just happened, and in my life. That pit in your stomach, the feeling of regret after relapsing isn't there at all. I have never felt bad or regretful after a session. For the days and weeks after, the state of my mind and body is absolutely incredible. I feel so damn good and full of energy. I truly have absolutely no desire to watch porn, nor do I have a hypersexual view of women anymore. Things that used to trigger my brain to say, hey, this reminds me of that porn scene, go edge for a few hours and PMO, have zero effect, even like something as benign as sitting at home, bored and alone, to a random picture on social media, or hearing a porn star's name, or feeling depressed. That's not to say I have lost my libido, far from it. I haven't felt this sexually charged since I was in my teens and 20s. I'm also so much more cheerful in my day-to-day and look forward to getting out of the house to do things, take on projects, hang out with family and friends, etc. I've even started working out to start losing this extra weight I've been carrying. It truly has been a life-changing experience for me, and I just felt like I should share it here with all of you. I think most are going to disagree with the route I have taken, and I wouldn't hold it against them. If someone else said all this and I was on the other side, I might think they were crazy too. But I wanted to put it out there anyway and would love to see the discussion around it, even if it's mostly negative. Hope everyone has a good holiday season, finishes the year strong, and keeps at it. You can decide to not let porn ruin your life, and however you chose to make that happen, you can do it. Stay strong. This was not my post. I hope you enjoyed today's message.